Hey guys, it's Damara and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be telling you my January TBR. Happy New Year, and I can't believe we're in 2024 already. And I've been reading books since like 2 years ago. I started reading 2 years ago and I never filmed anything. I didn't know how to do this, but I want to get into it because I really like the reading community and booktube and book talk and everything about it. And last year I read about 118 books, which that was already insane to begin with, but I want to start doing January TBRs and throughout the whole month and see how many books I read this year. So I will be telling you my January TBRs and we're going to be going through it one by one. I picked 5 books for January because last year in January I read about 14 books, and this year I kind of want to take it slow, and one of my biggest goals, and I want to start reading longer books because usually the books that I read are like 300 pages and that's about it, and it usually takes me 1 or 2 days to read it. But this year I want to prioritize reading longer books, and I think it's a good thing, and I want to like remember books because I feel like once I read I forget about them and like I don't know what they're about anymore. So I feel like this year I just want to take it slow and do that. So let's get started with the first book that I want to read. This is not going to be in any way, shape, or form in like order that I'm going to be reading them. It just depends how I'm feeling throughout the month. But the first book that's in my January TBR is Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This book literally came out last year in 2023 and I never got the chance to read it. I feel like it's because I had like so many other books that I was reading that I completely like forgot about it. And how could I, because I love Lauren Asher. I love her Dirtier series. It's like one of my favorite series in the Dreamland Billionaires, and it's just like, oh my god, I love her writing. She's the best, and I think she's an amazing author and I love her so much. So this book is, if I'm looking down, I'm just reading out my notes because I took some notes for each book that I'm going to be reading this month. So it's Arrivals to Lovers, it's Small Town, and Second Chance Romance, which that's already amazing, and I heard it's found family too, and I cannot wait to read it. It's a bit thicker than her other books, I believe. Yeah, I think so. I'm very excited to read it. I can't wait, and I know that all her books I always love, like, especially Final Offer. Like, I just loved it so much. I just love anything she writes. I would read, and it's just like straight up, I just always know that I'm always gonna have a good time reading them, so I can't wait to read this one. So the second book that I want to read is it's a part of the series, which is very scary to me because I'm not really a fantasy reader at all. I've been trying to. Last year I read the ACOTAR series and I really liked it, but it wasn't like my favorite thing in the world. Like, I had a great time, don't get me wrong. Like, I rated them 4 or 5 stars. Like, that's how much I liked it, but it was very hard for me to get into the world of fantasy. But my goal is this year, I really want to try it out more and see how it goes and everything. So I've been wanting to read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I think that's how you say your last name. Everyone was talking about it on Book Talk, and I just kind of like, I'm like, I need to read it now that everybody's like talking about it. I don't know much about what the book's about. I just know that it's fantasy, and then it's like about dragons, and then like college for the dragons or whatever. I don't really know much about it, but I feel like it would be fun just like getting into it. I feel like a lot of people really liked it. I know that Steph Bohr read the book and she really liked it. So I'll read anything she reads, and I think it would be very fun to read. And it's very scary because it's out of my comfort zone, but I want to try something. And I feel like Fourth Wing is gonna be the first book I'm gonna read for this month because I want to try it out. It's like I've been watching too many TikToks about it, and I just like have to get into it. So that's definitely one of the first ones I'm gonna be reading, like as of right now. Like, I almost started it today, and it's January 1st. I like read a few lines and I was like, oh, I'm actually intrigued. So that's gonna be very fun. The next book that I want to read is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. And hear me out, I've heard about this book since like a while, since like those books came out, but I've been very scared to read it. First of all, because it's a bit long, and usually when it comes to long books I stay away from them because it's too much for me. and it's very intimidating to read a long book. And there's a lot of trigger warnings for this book, so it's just been very scary for me to like get into them. But I feel like it's time. I feel like I want to read more meaningful books and stuff like that, and I feel like it could be very fun. So the tropes for this one is sports romance, boy who is obsessed with a girl, who did this to you trope, which is my favorite if you ask me, family, shy girl, ex-popular guy, and obviously I need to search up the trigger warnings, and if you should too if you want to read it and read it with me. I haven't searched up the trigger warnings, but I definitely will before I read the book. But I feel like everybody's been talking about it and raving about it and how much they love the series, so I feel like I definitely want to get into it. I'm probably gonna leave it for last because I know there's a series, and I feel like if I read the first book I want to like finish the rest of the series. So I'm very excited to. It caught my attention right now, and I'm like, oh, I actually want to read it, so I definitely will be reading it soon. So, and I've never read a book about the author Chloe Walsh, so I feel like it could be really fun to get into it because I'm trying a lot of like new authors. Like I've never read Rebecca Jarros or Chloe Walsh, so I feel like it could definitely be fun. And the last book for my January TBR is Play It Hard by Michelle Hercules. It's a part of the series. I forget the name of it, but I'll write it right here. It's obviously hockey romance. Like, who doesn't love hockey? I feel like I should definitely put like a hockey romance in every month because it's something that always helps me to get out of a reading slump. I feel like I could read anything hockey related and I'll love. There's not much to say. It's just hockey romance, and I've read so many of Michelle Hercules books, and I really like her way of writing and how fast-paced it is and how really fun it is. It's just a fun read, and I feel like it would definitely help after reading all those heavy books that I will be reading this month. So overall, I feel like I have like a really good section of books that I want to read. I feel like it's a good way because I've been reading so much every month. I feel like I want to take it slow and actually like get the feeling to like remember the books and just like take my time with them. And something that I do a lot is I tend to finish books super fast and then I forget about them. So I want to take my time. I don't want to like push myself like, oh, you need to finish this book right now. And especially now that I'm a senior in high school, like I barely have time with school and like reading, but I definitely do want to stay up and like take my time with reading them, even if it takes 3 days or 4 days. That's fine. I just want to like enjoy it. I don't want to finish it so fast. I feel like I just want to take my time with it. But those are definitely my 5 books for the month of January, and I can't wait to read them. Obviously, this is my TBR, but it may change because I'm definitely a book mood reader, so whatever I feel that moment I will want to read. But I feel like I definitely gave myself different genres. Like, yeah, we have romance, a lot of them, but we have romance, fantasy, and sports romance. I feel like it will help. Like, there's different ways. Like, if I want to read Love Redesigned first, and then the Fourth Wayne book, and it's just like Binding 13. So I feel like it's like a different range, and I could go throughout all of them. But it might change by the end of the month, and I'll tell you if I read other books or whatever, because I usually jump around all the time, so I'm not like staying straight into that, but I would love to read those. So yeah, I feel like those are like really good 5 books. I feel like it would be fine, and if I end up reading more, that's great too. I'm not gonna like punish myself for reading more because that's gladly appreciated. But yeah, those are my top 5 books that I'll be reading in the January TBR. And if you want me to read any other books for February or for this month, I mean, let me know in the comments. And I know this is my first ever book video, but I really like reading, and I feel like it's time to like let it show and not be afraid of what people think or say. So yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, turn your bell on, and my social medias are down below, and my Goodreads if you want to follow me there. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.